Our dicks are stuck inside the game machine. Everybody wishes they could be. Here we come, like a bomb. Everybody fucking run and hide.
Hey, greetings and salutations, fellow Nerdy Talk viewers. I'm your host, Remington Keyes, and welcome to the Nerd Talk podcast. Nerdy Talk for nerdy fans. We got a full house tonight, but we're going to start off by introducing some of our guests. Joining us today is Dan. Dan, say hey to everybody.
Hey, I'm Dan, otherwise known as Mr. Moonwalker. Mr. Moonwalker 94 on YouTube, and on Twitter and whatnot. And I do a combination of things: fan projects and Michael Jackson impersonation.
Also joining us today is Kenny. Kenny, introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Kenny Rudder. I'm on YouTube under the name Kenny Rudder, original, where I review movies, books, and video games. I'm also a member of the Nostalgia Trio, along with Cody Blythe and another member, Zed, who's been MIA for a few months, and one of the admins of Growing Up on the 90s on Facebook.
Also joining us today is Jem Reviews. Introduce
What's
yourself.
up? I'm Jem. Sorry about that, Remington. What's up? I'm Jem Reviews. I am known on YouTube as Kenny Rudder, and I'm a 24-year-old, and I do reviews on basically anything, if you can't tell by my name. But right now I'm sticking to animation, but I'm hoping to break out and do some other, film-related stuff. Hence why I'm joining this podcast, and I'm here to, just to hang out with these guys. What's up?
And last but not least, Jeff. Jeff, introduce yourself.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me on, Remington. I'm with the Bro Force Squad podcast. That's 3 words. You can check us out on all platforms: YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. I know Remington and I have been going back and forth right now. We're doing a comic book movie madness tournament. All 64 comic book movies. We need you guys to help us vote on it. Check it out at broforcesquad.com. And guys, it is morphin' time. Let's get it going.
All right.
I'm sorry, 64 comic book movies? There's that many?
Sadly, yes. Yeah, comic book and superhero movies. But we need you guys' help voting on them. So if go to broforcesquad.com after you listen to this show and help us with all the voting.
Okay, I'm going to censor this because I don't know your policy on swearing, but holy crap.
Our first topic today is the new Power Rangers trailer was released today. It's a full trailer. It's not the teaser like we got before. Jem, why don't you start us off? What are your thoughts on the new Power Rangers trailer that was released?
Well, the first time I saw this trailer, I saw it when I went to go see Patriots Day.
Mm-hmm.
And at first I didn't even know it was Power Rangers. I thought it was like a sequel to that movie Chronicle that came out in 2011 or something.
Yeah.
I got like that kind of vibe from it. And I also think that's kind of a compliment because that Chronicle movie kicked ass. So, but I think it looks kind of cool. Like I really like this new trailer where they kind of showed off the wardrobe and everything. Like it looks really nice to me. Like I think they did a decent job with it. And yeah, I'm almost positive I'm going to go see that when it comes out.
What about you, Jeff? What are your thoughts?
So, as a kid who grew up in my living room on Saturday mornings with my Green Ranger outfit on, karate kicking my couch, I can safely say that I think this movie is doing the best thing they can do to both kind of reboot the franchise and also tailor it to kind of the older generation that grew up with it. Look, let's be honest. We love the Power Rangers, but it's campy material. It's going to be hard to adapt to the modern day and age. Mm-hmm. Seeing everything in there, they threw the kitchen sink at us. I hope there's some surprises left, maybe like a Tommy cameo at the end or something cool. But to see the Zords, to see Cranston as Zordon, to see Elizabeth Banks finally as Rita, I'm pumped to see it. And it sucks that this is coming out around the same time as Logan because I know that it's going to hit my wallet pretty hard. But you got to see them both, right?
Definitely. I really hope they don't take away from each other's money because I want them both to succeed. Those are both movies I want to succeed at the box office. I'd love to see, like they were talking about, 7 Power Rangers movies that could be coming off this.
Let's go, yeah.
After watching this trailer, I could definitely see 7 movies coming off of this. The teaser trailer, I wasn't so sure. This one, I could definitely see 7 movies. What about you, Dan? Dan, what are your thoughts on the trailer?
Oh boy, I was half awake when I got the message from a girlfriend said, best trailer since the last one, probably better than the last one. And I looked and I went, holy shit, but as soon as they made the joke about what was it? The black joke, with Billy and Zach, I started bursting out laughing. That was
I'm black. No, you're not.
That was hilarious.
Yeah. We got to see, we get to see Zordon, Alpha, Goldar, all that stuff, all the good stuff. I was like, man, is there anything they haven't shown us? Which I'm pretty sure there is, but I'm definitely going to see that first day. I'm cosplaying at it.
Well, first, let me just say, Jem, I'm sorry for that little snicker during your spiel when you brought up Chronicle. That just made me think of something that I can get into if it's okay.
I didn't notice for the record, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, go ahead, get into it, Kenny.
But wait a minute, get into what that snicker was about, or get into my thoughts?
Oh, whatever. I don't know if you wanted to talk about it.
Okay, let's get my thoughts first. That's more important right now than that. Like I said, I was in the middle of class when it dropped. I didn't see it until I think it was close to lunchtime, and we had some downtime, and I was actually going to go watch the latest episode of the Brain Scratch run of Kirby Triple Deluxe Brain Scratch commentary, and that was one of the first things I saw was, and I'm like, well, it's about time. So I'm watching it, and the whole time I'm just grinning like, because we finally get to see the Zords, we finally get to see Goldar, we got to see the Putties, we got to see Rita, and was it Jeff or Jem who brought it up? And I actually recently did a 90s talk with Cody Blythe about this, and we were going into speculation about how if it's not going to be right before the credits, it'll be either like a Marvel mid or post-credit scene with Tommy finding the green power coin.
I really hope Tommy shows up. I mean, there's just... It would be such a great sequel.
It'll be some kind of a teaser, like a stinger or a post-credit scene or something like that. Going back to what Dan said, there were some moments that made me laugh, like the whole black joke. I'm black. No, you're not. Yeah, I am. And when Trini is talking with her family and she brings up, I think I'm a superhero, her mom's going to give her a drug test.
Who hasn't been there,
We only get to see Zordon and Alpha. I will admit, Alpha looks a little weird with the frog guys, but they seem like they're going for the more, with Alpha, at least without one line, more of a snarky jerk kind of look. Bryan Cranston, Bryan Cranston's doing great as Zordon already in those 10 seconds we saw him, which, by the way, for those who don't know, Bryan Cranston is actually Power Rangers alumni. He voiced the Twin Man and the Lizardinator in the original series.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I liked what I saw. Like I said, I liked Goldar. I liked the Putties. Another thing that made me laugh was the Putty hologram bit. You know the one.
There's something that a lot of people kind of missed on some of the parts of the trailer, so I'll bring it up. There's a scene where you see the Red Ranger reaching out for his father to save his father, and if you notice on the gloves, it's almost like the Spider-Man gloves, like Spider-Man Homecoming. So there's kind of a mix of organic material with armor for the costumes, which is a really good throwback to the spandex and stuff. You know?
Well, yeah, that's what I was about to get into. I like the suits. I like the Megazord for the few seconds we got to see it, along with the other Zords. And I also like how, kind of expanding on what we saw at the end of the original teaser back before Halloween, how the suits sort of fold over them. I know people have made the comparison to the symbiotes from Spider-Man.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
I kind of like how they sort of that glowing light in their chest, which, from what I've read up, is supposed to represent the morphing grid, and it sort of expands from that.
Oh,
I like that. That's pretty cool. And it sort of is a mix of, say, the original Sentai suits, the spandex, even though Dr. K from RPM would rather not call it that, and the armored suits from 1995. I think that was a pretty neat mishmash. I would like to point this out, if it's okay. I did notice in this trailer and in some of the promotional pictures, they did take something from the original draft of the 1995 movie, where their visors and their mouthplates could retract to show the Ranger's faces underneath.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, so we only saw when they were in the Zords.
There's a really cool poster, I actually think, and it's all their profiles like that, kind of an homage to the Fast and Furious poster. I want one of me and all my boys just standing overlooking Angel Grove like that. That's going to be my new profile picture on Facebook, I think.
That'd be a decent profile picture.
Yeah, it would be.
Another thing, I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm rambling here, but I'm kind of glad that the movie's coming out at this point in about 2 months, which March can't get here fast enough, darn it. But the way that it's looking, it's you think it'd be more of a summer blockbuster, because I'm not going to lie, while it would be freaking terrifying in real life, I'm actually kind of a sucker for those where the city is getting wrecked, and let's face it, you cannot watch Mighty Morphin Power Rangers or any Power Rangers season and convince yourself that they're, as a mid-20s or 30s or however old we are, that they're still fighting in the abandoned warehouse district. There's people in those buildings that are getting torn down.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go on to our next topic. The new Logan trailer was also released today along with the Power Rangers trailer. It looks like Fox was trying to compete with Lionsgate, like, oh, we used to have that property, so we're going to release something better. So they released the Logan trailer for the new X-Men movie, Wolverine trilogy, whatever you want to call it. What are you guys' thoughts? We're going to start off with Jeff.
Thanks, Remington. So, the first trailer I thought was incredible because of the Johnny Cash song in the background. This one somehow topped that for me. This is a story that I think we can all kind of agree is taking a few bits and pieces from the Old Man Logan storyline. Professor X is kind of replacing the Hawkeye character, obviously because of rights issues. And then, of course, we have X-23. But I think the main thing we're getting here, and I think what I'm definitely hoping for in Hugh Jackman's supposed swan song for the character, is sort of a completion of his arc, which he's been given probably the best emotional through line in all these X-Men movies of any character, despite Fox's continuity issues. And having Patrick Stewart back with Hugh Jackman, and it looks like James Mangold is actually giving them a lot of meat on the bones in terms of basically seeing their characters' relationship through. I'm excited to see this. I think what I love almost more than the trailer itself is that they had to do, or they didn't have to do, but I wanted them to do the opposite of the Power Rangers trailer, which showed me everything. They showed me hardly anything in terms of the villains in this. I'm excited to see it. It's a completely different movie than the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie, but I think that's what it needs to be, and that's kind of why I think I'm excited to go see it in March.
Actually, I have not seen it. I've been so busy with the Power Ranger trailer and whatnot that I haven't seen it yet. But I will later on. Yeah.
What about you, Jeff?
All right. Yeah, I saw that. I want to say something. Okay, 2017 needs to be the year for redemption for just like like Wolverine in general, because X-Men Origins was so bad. Like, it was such a bad movie. This movie, what I really like about it, it's kind of like what Jeff said. I do like that there is a lot of mystery behind this movie, like just from that trailer. Like, I do want to see where they're gonna go. I do want to see like what purpose this kid had. Like I know the kid's his daughter and everything, and I get that she has some kind of special role in this movie, but I'm really curious. Like, I cannot for the life of me figure out what it's gonna be, and I really like that because that makes me want to see it. That makes me want to check it out.
Well, if you look at the comics, it's X-23, the Wolverine clone. Sorry, spoiler alert. I'm going to put a spoiler alert on the video. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, sorry. Okay. Yeah, the first trailer I saw that, I like that, from both these trailers, like, it seems like very story-driven almost, like, not really as actiony as Power Rangers. Just very story-driven, very, just like very, like, kind of slow, very, like, I don't know what to say, yeah, just very slow and very character-driven, which, that's something I would kind of like to see a little bit more in X-Men. Like, just, I want to know some more about these characters. I want to know, like, what they're actually like. I want to know how they are when they're not kicking ass. I do want to get a good feel for them.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a really fun flick. What about you, Kenny? What are your thoughts?
I'm afraid that the only Logan trailer I've seen to date is the one that was playing during Rogue One.
Oh.
But I did get into a conversation with someone on Facebook earlier about the differences between the two trailers, and I'm like, well, of course there's going to be a difference. Power Rangers is supposed to be silly and fun for the most part, whereas X-Men is supposed to be really grim and, okay, not so much grim, but serious and focused more on things such as racism, prejudice, and the morals of humanity. But from what I saw in the original trailer, well, I really can't give much of an impression because it has been a while, but I sort of like how it seems like they're trying to go more for... It's been a while since I've watched the movies. Did Wolverine and Professor X have that sort of adopted father-son relationship in the first three movies? I forget.
A little bit, like they hinted at it.
But it seems like they're sort of going more for like something along those lines. Plus, we got the kid in there who, I'm just speculating right now, probably might be supposed to be like some sort of a morality change for Wolverine, because I know most people don't like X-Men Origins Wolverine. Personally, I don't think it's that bad. But going back to something he said in that movie, he's the best at what he does, but what he does isn't very nice. Yeah. So, that could be some way to sort of bring out the human in the animal. As for this X-23, I have no commentary.
X-23 in the comics is basically a female cloned version of Wolverine. That's who the
Lady
little girl is.
The only thing I can compare that to is Lady Deathstrike from X-2, because personally, I don't really read a whole lot of comic books.
I don't either.
But this movie, I'm gonna give my personal thoughts on it. I think it's gonna be very, very fun. A lot of the trailers is shown it grim and dark, but there's still a lot of humor to it. And the newest trailer spoiler alert for if you haven't seen the newest trailer, but if you haven't seen the newest trailer, why are you watching a podcast discussing it? But for spoiler alert on the newest trailer, there's a scene where X-23 is reading an X-Men comic book from like the 90s, and she goes, "Was this all? Did this really happen?" He goes, "About half of it happened." And he goes, "Look, Professor X, you finally have a fan." Like that, just like moments like that are just like so funny. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of heartwarming moments like that with just them trying to give her a real family while they're on the run. You know, almost.
There was another scene like that where she's in the gas station and she beats up the clerk.
Yeah.
And then I think Wolverine says, "Hey, you can't do that," and then he goes and steals jerky and just walks out the door with her.
Well, it was actually a cigar. Those were cigars.
Oh, it's a cigar. Yeah, it looked like jerky to me.
And Jim, that was a cool scene for me because you could tell that Wolverine knows that he knows, or at least has an intuition that Lady Deathstrike is basically him, but like much younger version. He's like, I know when I was a kid, if I was in this gas station and somebody tried to rip a slushie out of my hand, I would have broken their arm. So I'm going to rip you out of the gas station real quick and let's just get in the car. I thought that was kind of a telling moment, and kind of to Remington's point, how even in the grim and sort of the bleak, and I don't want to say this is necessarily a post-apocalyptic version of Earth, but at least it seems like everyone Wolverine has known and has cared about is probably not in the picture. Yeah. Even in that scenario, we're still going to find a few moments of levity, and that was kind of a cool way that I think James Mangold put it into the story.
It made me give a little bit more hope to this movie. I know a lot of people don't like that scene in that trailer, but it just kind of gave me like, oh wow, like I could relax. Like it's not going to be too dark. It's going to be still fun, you know? Sort of like a mix between the two Wolverine movies before. How X-Men Origins was trying to be a fun Wolverine movie, and the Wolverine was trying to be a serious Wolverine movie. This feels like a good blend of the two, where they might actually get a really good Wolverine movie out of this. You know what I mean?
Well, to be fair, a lot of the humor from Wolverine does come from his snarky jerkiness.
That's true.
Like in the first movie, I know this is just a mild example, and it's probably because I'm easily amused. Okay, Storm. Cyclops, what do they call you? Wheels?
That's still a funny line. I'm not gonna lie.
Apparently that bit was ad-lib because Hugh Jackman flubbed his line, but I like to think he was a fan of the Burger King Kids Club because there was a character named Wheels in that bunch.
Who's not? And that's an exclusive club to get into, guys. If you get into the Burger King Kids Club, value that membership.
I was once a member of the Burger King Kids Club with those.
I think
I'm a little too old right now.
I used to get
never too old to have fun.
I used to get those.
That's true, but at 26, I don't think you're considered a kid anymore.
Hey, I'm always a kid in Toys R Us's eyes.
Absolutely.
It's not about what you are on the outside; it's what your heart tells you you are.
Our next topic, segue into our next topic. We're going to do the animated series we're looking forward to in 2017. Now, I'm going to start off with this because I don't know if anybody did research on animated series that are coming out, but I have a top 5 list of things I'm looking forward to. I'm going to go with 5 first and go all the way down to my number 1. My number 5 is Zoolander, the Supermodel animated series. I don't remember which network it's going to be on, but it's going to be on like one of those kids networks, almost like the Jim Carrey animated series that aired on Fox Kids back in the day. The 4th one is Marvel's Spider-Man. It's a reboot of the Spider-Man animated series, Ultimate Spider-Man. It's kind of rebooting it. It's going to take itself more seriously, like Spectacular Spider-Man. I'm still a little worried about it, but I'm going to be excited just because it's Spider-Man. Number 3, we got DuckTales. Everybody knows DuckTales. If you don't, look it up. It's very recognizable.
Yeah, DuckTales.
Woo!
Then everybody break down the chorus.
Oh, yeah.
And then I got Big Hero 6, which is one I'm looking forward to just because I love the movie, and I thought Disney did such a good job with the movie that I think they'll do good with the animated series. And my number 1 is Mega Man. Just because we haven't seen Mega Man in a long time.
A new Mega Man cartoon?
Yeah, they're making a new Mega Man cartoon. And to go back on the Big Hero 6 thing, it's made from the people who created Kim Possible. So that's what it's sort of me looking hyped because I love Kim Possible as a kid. Jeff, you start us off. What series are you looking forward to this year?
So I gotta say, Remington, I had Mega Man locked and loaded. You took that one from me just because I think I actually owned all 6 of the original. They probably made like 500 of those games. Not only did I own the games though, but I always played with him in Marvel vs. Capcom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If you want me to go with a second one, I guess I can maybe just say Ben 10 that's getting rebooted. That I know I watched a little bit when I was growing up. It's a nice action adventure like. Sort of sci-fi one for kids. Yeah. But I think just in general, I want to give some praise because I think most of the ones you mentioned are either a Disney property or on Disney XD. Disney XD has an incredible track record with TV shows, whether it's Star Wars Rebels or a lot of the ones that you just mentioned. I mean, if they put out anything either new or some type of a reboot or a rehash, I think I'll just inherently give them the benefit of the doubt for at least a few episodes.
Unless it's a Marvel property, because their Marvel property shows aren't that very good.
Yeah, did you watch any of the like Avengers Assemble or like the?
I watched Avengers Assemble season 1. Got very disappointed, but then my brother told me to come back for season 2, and season 2 got better, and now season 3 is okay. It's to the point where it's watchable.
Okay, I was like you. I kind of gave up at the end of season 1. They were doing kind of like a hybrid of the movie universe and the Ultimates, and I was just kind of confused where it was going. But if you say it gets good in season 2, I'll definitely come back.
Yeah, I think it's called Ultron Rises or something. Like, it's something convoluted, but it's actually really good. As for the Ultimate Spider-Man, I wouldn't get into Ultimate Spider-Man. I kind of watch it just to see the Spider-Man storylines, but I cringe every time I watch it. I'm like, why are you wasting so much time and energy with this series, Disney? I don't get it.
Is that the show where they've somehow paired him up with, like, Power Man and Nova and this other weird...
They did that for the first 2 seasons, and then they kicked him off the show to add alternate versions of Spider-Man on the team.
Oh, of course, perfect. Spider-Man 2099. We need to see that on TV. That makes sense.
It's just like it's so convoluted. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody unless you want to see some of your favorite incarnations of Spider-Man on television. But you're not going to be happy with it. You're just going to be, oh, I saw it at least once, you know.
Fair enough.
For some reason, that sounds like an animated version of the Clone Saga.
They did the Clone Saga twice on the show.
I'm scared now. It's too long and it sucked.
Take cover.
Yeah, that pretty much explains the last 2 seasons of Ultimate Spider-Man. Too long and awful.
That's the tagline on the DVD when you go try to buy it.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
It's an odd marketing strategy, but whatever works for them.
Yeah.
Dan, what are you looking for?
It's reverse psychology is what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Probably, and this is in a couple days, or actually, I think tomorrow. Voltron Season 2.
Oh my god, how did I forget about Voltron? How did I forget?
Yeah. I mean, because of the way it ended, they have to make a Season 2. You know they had that planned.
Yeah.
And it's really good. I mean, compared to some of the other times they tried to reboot it. That's probably the only one I can think of off the top of my head right now, because I haven't really been keeping up with what's coming out as far as animated. I'm more of a live action kind of person.
I love Voltron Season 1. I'm really looking forward to Season 2. I don't know how it just slipped my mind that wasn't coming out.
Oh, man, yeah.
What about you, Jem? What are you looking forward to?
Alright, I'm going to do kind of what you did, Remington. I'm going to do a top 5 as well.
Alright,
and
go ahead.
Well, my 5, it's actually kind of a tie. It's the Hotel Transylvania series and the Cloudy with a Chance of Meatball series, just because there's something just kind of hilarious about the fact that these are 2 kind of mediocre, nothing special animated movies that are now getting their own television show like around the same time. Plus, I'm curious to see what an Adam Sandler movie will do without Adam Sandler. So there's that. Number 4 is Ben 10, because Ben 10 I never really got into as much as a kid, but I am curious to see what a new one's going to be like. Number 3 is Mega Man, but mostly because I saw the Kids WB version of that when I was a child. I used to get up at 7 in the morning to watch Kids WB all the time. That was like, I think, the closer of Kids WB, like Saturday mornings. It was Mega Man. So I always stuck around for that too, and I always loved that show. Number 2 is a Spider-Man. Number 2 is Marvel Spider-Man. Again, because I love Spider-Man. I wasn't a big fan of the last series they had, which I think competed with the original X-Men and everything like the 90s one that had that very electronic sounding intro.
Oh, you didn't like the 90s Spider-Man?
I saw it. I thought it was okay, but I'm just comparing it to the other 2. It didn't really hold up as well.
The 90s intro was written by one of the guys from Aerosmith.
All right, so No, the intro was fine. I'm not bashing intro. I'm just using that. I'm just saying I'm talking about that show. But yeah, that intro was awesome. But the show was to me kind of lackluster. That's just it. So I really want to see this new one. And number one is, of course, DuckTales, because that was like my favorite show when I was a child. I want to see what they do with that. I hope it's as good as the original was.
Well,
I want like a rock version of the original theme song, but like
I want that too.
Electric guitar behind it. Let's go. I'll do some.
They have an R&B version of that actually, which is really. It's actually just like it's just as catchy. The R&B version.
I am so sold. I'm listening to that the second we get off the episode.
Yeah, just look it up on YouTube. It's like a live action band too. It's really kind of nice. I liked it.
That's awesome.
Does anybody know why DuckTales got a reboot in the first place?
The theme song?
Nope, it's because Gravity Falls, they couldn't get another season of Gravity Falls, and they looked at what mystery shows they have, and they go, DuckTales! Yes!
I mean, if nothing else, the nostalgia factor, you think will at least get it to like a season 2.
Yeah, I'll be watching all season 1 just because of the nostalgia factor.
Well,
Sure.
I'm curious how they're going to try to make it like Gravity Falls. Like they said, I heard in an interview when they're advertising this that they're going to try to make it like Gravity Falls. I'm curious, with an overarching storyline and mysteries, how well this is going to go with DuckTales. You know, maybe it'll be a more serious DuckTales. Who knows? But I'm looking forward to it.
Well, you have Uncle Scrooge now being played by the 10th Doctor, so that could help.
Yeah, probably.
What about you, Kenny? What are you looking forward to?
Well, I guess I would have to say DuckTales. It's a shame that Alan Young won't be there, but can't help that exactly. Now that you brought up Mega Man, I had no idea, because the only Mega Man cartoons I was aware of was the Ruby Spears cartoon from like 94,
Yeah.
and Mega Man MT Warrior from off the Kids WB. Those are really the only two.
You can probably find it online too if you search for it. It was a really good show to me. I kind of enjoyed it.
I'm looking to see what channel it's going to be. It's being made by Toei Animation and DHX Media, which is Dick Entertainment, Cookie Jar. You know, the people who made Johnny Test.
Those are really the only two new animated shows I can think of. The only other thing animated related I'm waiting for is season 7 of My Little Pony. Yeah, I said it. And I know we said animated series, but again, I brought up, I think it was before Remington did his countdown, 24 Legacy.
Oh, apparently Mega Man's being developed by Man of Action, too, the people who made Ben 10. So there's going to be...
Oh, look at that.
So that's 3 big names that are developing it. DHX, Man of Action, and Toei Animation.
So it has
Good
no
sign.
reason to fail, basically.
Yeah.
Or now we've just doomed it by saying that, I feel like.
It says it's going to be based off the
You can
classic
blame me then if that
Mega Man.
happens. You can just, send the Angry Mob to my house.
If you have that kind of power, we need to go to Vegas right now.
Well, I'm looking right now. It says it's going to take storylines from the original, Mega Man X, and Battle Network. So it'll be like kind of like all around.
Yeah.
That should be interesting.
Well, it would be nice to give Mega Man something for his 30th anniversary besides the cameo in Smash Brothers. Thank you, Capcom.
That's true.
And
For the
across
record,
the side.
What were you going to say?
And for the record, like I didn't even know about the Mega Man video games until I saw the Kids WB show. I was too young for the Mega Man video games, I think, though.
I didn't know about the Mega Man video games till my friend used to play them on the GameCube. So
They're awesome, but they're all incredibly identical. Play a level, shoot people, and then when there's a wall too high for you, call your dog to come down and you jump on his back to leap over. That's
Unless you play Mega Man X, in which case you can just hop up the wall.
true.
mind blown.
Yeah, that's true.
Now it's the part of our show where we take questions. If you have a question, make sure to comment below in the comment section with starting off with questions so it's easier to find and your question gets answered faster. Gareth Mannion asks, should there be a Boba Fett anthology movie? He says personally he doesn't think there should be. Kenny, you start us off.
Well, Boba Fett is a very mysterious character unless you haven't read the books or the comics. He just shows up in the middle of Empire Strikes Back, has maybe a couple of lines throughout the last half of that movie, and then in Return of the Jedi, gets taken out like a bitch.
Actually, he shows up in the holiday special first.
The Ewok one? Oh, yeah. That's canon, right?
Nobody counts the holiday special. So
How dare you try and take that out of canon?
With Boba Fett as popular and mysterious a character as he is, an origin story, well, I guess it really depends on how you look at it. If you're one of those people who love the expanded universe, and there's probably a Boba Fett, at least more than a few Boba Fett novels and comic books out there, then maybe an anthology movie shouldn't happen. But if you're somebody like me who doesn't give a damn about the expanded universe, then it wouldn't be out of the question to see like maybe where Bubba went after Attack of the Clones, after he saw Mace Windu cut off Jango's head, and then see where he took the Fett legacy from there up until he gets eaten like a little pansy.
Dan, what do you think? Do you think Boba Fett should get an anthology movie or no?
I think so. I mean, so for the same reasons that there should be a Han Solo movie, but like pick up from where Attack of the Clones left off, skip Return of the Jedi, and show how he got out of the pit. I don't know if this is still canon, but like where he
well, if I can interrupt you real quick, when Disney took over the rights from LucasArts, they said all the expanded universe is just like
Legends, right?
Legends.
Yeah.
So it's not. So the expanded universe is not canon.
But it's still be
He's still getting digested.
Yeah. But it'd still be cool to be, because I did see this one video where somebody actually showed how he got out. I think that would actually be pretty cool to see cinematically and to get him back into the universe of Star Wars. But it'd be good to see.
What about you, Jeff? What do you think?
So, Remington, I go back and forth on this about every day. I've heard some good points. I would almost prefer it to be said after Clone Wars. I think him dying in the Sarlacc pit, I'm kind of okay with. I know, as we were talking, a lot of the Expanded Universe books are now no longer canon and are dubbed as Legends books.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to reserve a lot of judgment to see how the Han Solo movie comes out. That's a movie that I'm still really trepidatious about. Excuse me. I love all these movies, and the whole point of the anthologies is obviously to further the Star Wars universe outside of the Skywalker legacy. Rogue One was incredible. I loved it. And I think the idea of telling a story about something that happened somewhere along the timeline that we know, maybe not as focused on one character, could be cool, but who doesn't want to see a bounty hunter, and most people's favorite bounty hunter? I know Boba Fett is a huge fan favorite, so if it's set maybe sometime after Clone Wars, I wouldn't mind seeing maybe not even like the Empire sends Boba on some mission, but him stuck on some planet that the Hutts run or something, or like in the bowels of Coruscant going on some crazy hunt for someone who's like a death stick dealer. To me, that could be a cool movie, but I don't know. I guess I would have to know what other anthology movies it's getting the green light at the expense of for me to really make that choice. And unless Lucasfilm makes a huge mistake and lets me into those boardroom meetings, I don't think I'm going to have that information anytime soon.
What about you, Jim?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Jeff on this one. I do want to see the Han Solo movie first before I fully say if I think there should be like a Boba Fett movie. But the material's there. They probably could make a decent movie around someone like Boba Fett because they haven't given too much away to where it's like there's nothing to build, like there's like nothing they can't be creative with.
Yeah.
And also just the idea of making him just the idea of him being a bounty hunter, that alone can be very interesting. But it's more like if Star Wars could do that. I don't know, like they've been so hit or miss lately that I wouldn't be surprised if the Han Solo one worked perfectly, but then the Boba Fett one was just totally trashed.
I think if they do a Boba Fett one, they shouldn't have him talk, just have him accept missions and stuff. Because I think the biggest mystery about him is just keeping him mysterious. He's good for his little cameos, but I'm not sure how he'd hold up his own movie. You know what I mean? So if you kept him quiet and watched him get missions and followed him around as almost like a silent movie, but people talk to him, you know what I mean? It would be kind of interesting to see something like that. And
Like a Judge Dredd type kind of way that they do.
Yeah, I could see that.
Why does that sound like the closest thing we'd ever get to a Metroid movie?
It does.
Nintendo's not ready to release or let go of all their properties.
Then again, after what happened with Super Mario Brothers 24 years ago.
Oh God.
I feel like there's such a young generation of kids. You could have Samus take her mask off at the end of the movie, and half the theater wouldn't even know that it was a woman the whole time, and that would blow people's minds.
Oh, I believe that. I totally believe that.
The next question comes from Craig. Your thoughts on how they're going to deal with the recent death in real life, seeing how they already wrapped up filming on Episode 8? A lot of Star Wars questions. I'm going to let Dan start off with this one. How do you think they're going to handle Princess Leia's death?
I've been thinking about this one quite a bit, and I'm still trying to wrap around my head that she's gone. But because there was rumors. This might be a little spoiler, but there was rumors that she was supposed to be Rey's mother or something like that. I don't know.
Wow.
And yeah, and so, but also General Leia, General Organa. It affects a big part of the movie. I think it should have been like they should take if they were going to take anybody out, they should have taken either it'd be her and keep Han,
Yeah.
or just keep it the way around. But to lose both of them, who's left of the originals? You got Luke Skywalker.
There's R2D2 and C3PO.
They will live on always.
Nobody cares about C-3PO.
Yeah, no, they've been on all 6 movies.
Hey, that's C-3PO human cyborg relations to you.
Some semantics.
What about you, Jeff? How do you think they're going to handle her death?
So, here's the thing, Remington. I've heard that, obviously, Colin Trevorrow, who's directing Episode 9, went and met with Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm last week to kind of figure this out.
Yeah.
And obviously, first and foremost, we lost a great person and an icon to a lot of us in Carrie Fisher, so that's tough to deal with. But supposedly there were 2 big scenes that were going to take place in Episode 9, and this is a minor spoiler if you're out there, but you can find this on Star Wars Newsnet and a few other outlets. But there was going to be a scene reuniting her and Luke Skywalker, and then a confrontation scene with her and her son Kylo Ren. Now, those seem very difficult to write out of a script. I mean, obviously, I don't work for the WGA. I don't know.
Well, from what I hear, they were already filmed before she died.
Oh, those were in Episode 8 already filmed, or 9?
The part with Kylo Ren versus her was supposed to be Episode 9, but it was already filmed ahead of time.
Okay. Well, then that's not as big of an issue. I think the bigger thing is, and I would love to hear everyone else's opinion on this in the pod, but I don't want them to do CGI General Leia. I don't want them to recast her. So if there's a way that we can casually write her out or maybe mention her off screen, I just feel like it's too sensitive an issue for a lot of fans who grew up with Star Wars to see her in either of those 2 mediums. But I would be very interested to hear what everyone else has to feel about that.
Let me shoot you an idea right here. What if they did a CGI Leia, but it was a hologram CGI Leia with her final message to the group, saying that this is going to be a suicide mission, this is going to be our last mission or something, but it's like CGI Leia.
Yeah, that is different. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. That would be a nice little send-off. Again, it's tough because, like you were saying, there's pivotal scenes that she was obviously, the long game as they always do the Skywalker movies and trilogies. Mm-hmm. And then there's the sensitive aspect of it that we actually lost a person who was, very important to a lot of people. So I don't know. I do not envy Colin Trevorrow and Kathleen Kennedy who have to make Episode 9 at this point, but I'm sure that they'll do it in a tactful way and that she'll get a proper send off. And hopefully it doesn't affect the story too much, but at this point, I don't know. And I hope that they do something that us as fans can definitely appreciate on a couple levels, both of the movie and obviously of Carrie Fisher.
What about you, Jem? What do you think?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I already can tell it's going to be tough. See, this is where the other actors are going to need to really step up now. They're going to need to really fill that hole. And as for story, as for being story driven, I don't know. They have a whole other movie to really worry about that, right? Because like I said, like Episode 8, they've already filmed all of her parts, right?
Yeah, for Episode 8.
So they have a whole other movie to really decide what they're going to do right now. So I mean, the time is there, but yeah, this is going to be. It's going to be tough. I don't even know what they can really do that hasn't already been covered right now. So, but I'm not the most knowledgeable person when it comes to Star Wars either. So I can't even give an actual answer for that.
What about you, Kenny?
If they already finished... Okay, so they finished principal photography on Episode 8 sometime before her death.
Yeah, they finished filming the whole movie.
But that doesn't exclude reshoots, where they have to go back and fix up a scene that wasn't shot right, or they have to go back and do ADR, in which case they would probably have to do some kind of, put in a stunt double with digital face replacement. Now, with Episode 9, going back to what some of the other guys have said, maybe, have her show up maybe as a hologram, as like a last will and testament to Luke and maybe Kylo Ren. And given that obviously Leia was Luke's sister, which still doesn't excuse that one scene from Empire Strikes Back, and Kylo Ren's mother, I know this is going to sound kind of cheesy and whatnot, but perhaps that would be something to sort of like sway Kylo Ren sort of away from the dark side at least a little bit. Mm-hmm. Like, she was still his mother, and he still harbored some love for her. Because all bad men love their mamas. Joe loved his mama.
Preach.
Alright, so, I'm just guessing here, but with her being gone now, they'll probably have to, if they're not putting her in CG through, holograms or whatnot, or like an android with some kind of a holographic projection of her, like that one droid from the Force Unleashed video games, they'll probably write her out as probably being killed off in a mission off screen sometime.
I think we're going to take one final question because we're running out of time on the show. We got about 10 minutes left to do for the show. So we'll do one final question, and that's Brian Everett asks, thoughts on the upcoming Spider-Man Homecoming movie? I'm going to start with Jeff. Jeff, thoughts on the Spider-Man Homecoming?
So I'm excited, but I'm a little nervous. So when I first heard Kevin Feige say that him and John Watts were going for sort of a John Hughes feel, I said, okay, this is great. I'm a huge fan of John Hughes. Anyone here who's ever been through puberty can pretty much relate, which I'm probably everyone, and if you're younger than that, good luck in the trials and tribulations ahead. The trailer I loved. Here's my only issue. They have Michael Keaton as the villain, and I would love to hear everyone's opinion on this again. Marvel knocks it out of the park. Most of the movies in the MCU are, at worst, just solid watches. But with the exception of Loki and maybe one or two others, the villains are typically cardboard, and I just really want Michael Keaton to get his turn as the Vulture here to be a great villain. As long as that happens, this will it's going to be a huge box office success either way, and obviously Robert Downey Jr. puts people's butts in seats when a movie comes out.
Yeah.
I'm jacked to see it. I just would really want to get a little bit of the Vulture here, especially with Michael Keaton, my main man, Batman, playing him. I hope they give him his due, but I'm going to be there opening night and probably the next weekend. So if you're there that weekend or the next one, I'll see you in the seats.
Well, hell, Spider-Man puts butts in theaters too. That last Spider-Man movie, Amazing Spider-Man 2, as much as everybody ragged on it, it still made $1 billion. So
they're ATMs, man. They just print money.
Given that Spider-Man is one of the top 3 superheroes along with Batman and Superman, I'm not surprised.
Jem, what are your thoughts on Spider-Man Homecoming?
Well, first of all, props to them for getting actors who actually look like they belong in high school for once. Instead of just 20-some looking college students.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm actually really jacked to see that too. I love Spider-Man. I would call him my favorite superhero, and I would call his movies some of my favorite movies. Aside from Amazing Spider-Man 2, which, that was kind of painful, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, Homecoming actually did not look too bad, and I like this new Spider-Man. I think he's really giving it his all just from the trailers alone. The action scenes look pretty cool and all, and it actually looks like they're really going to dive into what it's like being a high school student who's a superhero. Instead of a few shots of a few shots of Tobey Maguire looking tired or Andrew Garfield goofing off, there's going to be some actual emotion and actual strain there, and you're actually going to feel for this guy.
So from what I hear is that Marvel wanted more of a John Hughes movie and Sony wanted a more of a superhero movie, and it looks like they found that good mix of between them from what the trailers are showing us. It feels like there's a good blend of both the John Hughes feel and the superhero feel, which is what was kind of missing out of all the Spider-Man movies. All the Spider-Man movies weren't perfect because they didn't show exactly the Peter Parker side fully, or they didn't show exactly the Spider-Man fully. They would do one or the other, Yep. They wouldn't show both sides. This one shows, just from the trailer, it looks like it's showing both sides of Spider-Man. And Tom Holland looks like he could play the perfect Spider-Man. What about you, Dan? What are your thoughts?
I've only seen the trailer once, but I'm looking forward to seeing Michael Keaton as the Vulture. I think that was a great choice. Pretty much everything that he's been in just does great. Yeah, it looks to be good. Spider-Man is getting younger and younger as we go with the movies. But
true, he has. So is his aunt too.
Yeah, he's doing good.
Getting a bit more British.
That's why Tony Stark's hanging around.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I don't think Iron Man should be in a Spider-Man movie. I think it should be separate. But
I 100% agree with you on that fact. That's the only thing that gets me worried about this movie is, are they going to give Robert Downey Jr. too much screen time like in Civil War?
Or was it just that one scene in the limo?
Yeah, I hope it's just that one scene in the limo, but then you see that part where Spider-Man flies off with Iron Man, which kind of scares me.
Iron Spider.
That is actually an alternate universe Spider-Man.
I really don't want Robert Downey Jr. because if you keep him in the movie for too long, it becomes an Iron Man movie.
Yeah.
Or movie, and that goes away from being Spider-Man.
No, I'm with Dan. You have a guy as charismatic as Robert Downey Jr. He's just inherently going to steal any scene that he's in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Remington, it's tough because you got to balance that. Like, hey, we know Robert Downey Jr. is kind of the face of the Marvel Universe, but this is our chance. We just got our big property back in Spider-Man. Let's let this kid develop and this character develop. I would be fine with a little bit of Iron Man and Tony Stark, but yeah, I'm totally with Dan. This is a Spider-Man movie, and I just hope that Marvel remembers that at the end of the day.
Marvel technically doesn't have the rights to Spider-Man. Let's get this clear.
Yeah.
Sony still owns the rights to Spider-Man, and they're going to keep owning the rights to Spider-Man as long as Marvel keeps making Spider-Man movies.
Right, it's a co-production.
Yeah, but
And that's a lot of that is because Amy Pascal and all the other people at Sony Studios were so gracious and admitted after The Amazing Spider-Man 2, hey, we don't really know what we're doing, so Kevin Feige, can you guys help us out here?
Can we get somebody that knows how to make a movie here? Somebody. Anybody. But there were talks that they were going to make an Amazing Spider-Man 3 at the same time as Spider-Man Homecoming, but apparently those talks have died down recently, so.
Yep.
Thank God, because can you imagine how confusing that would be if Sam Raimi's Spider-Man turned out to be a part of the MCU?
No.
I can already imagine trying to explain that to my mom, and my head is hurting.
Mom, multiverse theory.
Kenny, what are your thoughts on Spider-Man Homecoming?
Well, so far it's looking pretty good. I do like how they're actually showing him in high school, which is how he was supposed to have started out, because remember, he said, at least in the book, Civil War, he's been Spider-Man since he was 15, and at that point, it had been almost 20 years since he got bit, I think.
Yeah.
And Robert Downey Jr. in there, Iron Man in there. I know people don't think it's a good idea, but it does make sense considering that the new spider suit came from Stark Industries, and you know what? And that bit at the I know I say you know what a lot. At the beginning of the original trailer, which I've only seen twice when I went to go see Rogue One. What's up, guys? Hey, wait a minute. You aren't the real Avengers. I can tell. Hulk gives it away. And he makes the thugs beat themselves up. It's like they're actually showing, this Spider-Man, he's inexperienced. At the same time, he's also a bit more playful and fun.
Yeah.
Which you would expect a 13-year-old kid to be when he finds out he has superpowers.
He's supposed to be. Spider-Man's supposed to be like a clown almost.
Yeah, he's supposed to be the class clown of the Marvel Universe anyway, but at the same time, the one superhero anyone can relate to, which is why I think he's in the top 3 along with Batman and Superman. Michael Keaton as the Vulture, I think he works, he looks a hell of a lot better than he does in any other incarnation where he's just some bald guy with leprosy, it looks like. The suit looks pretty cool, and those red eyes are actually a little terrifying when you first see them.
I'm looking forward to it. I love Vulture. Vulture's one of my favorite villains. It kind of scared me when they said he was going to be the main villain, because Vulture in the comics is one of those villains where you need like 3 other villains that are coming to fight Spider-Man when the Vulture comes, because he's usually taken out very easily. But this Vulture actually looks menacing and looks like it's going to be a threat. And they're going to have Shocker there too, so...
Yeah, I've heard Shocker's in there. Vulture sort of looks like, given the suit, he could probably rival Iron Man, which I think would necessitate Peter Parker going to Tony Stark, because, hey, can you help me out with this? You owe me a favor from the airport thing.
And I've said this in a video before. One of my favorite Spider-Man storylines in the comics, it's an alternate universe storyline where him, Iron Man, and Bruce Banner all go to college together and share a room. Like a dorm room, and then they go on superhero adventures together.
That's awesome.
Sold.
So I was like, this kind of reminds me of those comics that I read as a kid, where there was that alternate universe story,
Definitely.
Yeah.
Also, let's not forget the funny bit with his friend. Dude, you're Spider-Man. No, I'm not. This is just an outfit. You were on the walls, and if you actually notice, he drops a Lego Death Star when he sees Peter Parker on the wall, and then and then the bit at the end where he's holding the ship together, which is from what I've read is supposed to be harken back to the monorail scene from Spider-Man 2.
Yeah,
which is an iconic scene. I love that scene with Doc Ock.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, where he's on front of the train and he's shooting his webs all over the place trying to stop the train because Doc Ock killed the driver and took out the controls.
Great scene.
That was a good scene. Oh, it's so action-packed.
And people who know the comics know that friend that dropped the Death Star is going to turn to Hobgoblin eventually. Hopefully that happens in a future movie, because that would be just so BA. Like, I would be so for that.
Now there is something I can't help but feel like this has to be addressed. I know a lot of people were saying that the love interest isn't Mary Jane or Gwen Stacy and she's not pure white. I'm like, okay, so it's an adaptation. When you make an adaptation, sometimes you have to make changes. Deal with it.
Do we think it's Liz Allen? Is that who we think Zendaya is playing?
No, Zendaya is playing Melanie Martinez or something. No, not Melanie Martinez. Something like that. She's playing some Miles Morales character, and she's not the love interest. They haven't announced her as the love interest yet.
Okay.
It's not official.
I'd be totally fine when there was the first speculation that she was Mary Jane. I was actually pretty excited about that.
I would be totally fine if there wasn't a love interest, because it's like all these movies have to have some kind of a love interest, and I'm like, you know what? You can have a boy and a girl just be friends. They don't have to be romantically involved.
Thank you.
I would like to see a love triangle between Liz Allen, Peter Parker, and who's the guy? Flash Thompson. But the Flash Thompson in this movie kind of looks wimpy. It doesn't kind of look.
Yeah, I was gonna say he doesn't look like he would shove me in a locker. But granted, I'm at the bottom of the totem pole there. So who am I really to be casting stones?
I read up now. Don't take this at face value because I got it off of TV tropes. That instead of being like the jerk jock, they're supposed to. Peter Parker and Flash Thompson this time around supposed to be like intellectual rivals.
What?
Interesting.
I could be remembering that wrong. It's been a few weeks. My memory's a little bit fuzzy.
Wow, that's crazy.
But yeah, that's plus Flash Thompson is also about, from what I've seen, is also about 2 feet shorter than Peter Parker.
That news alone is almost as crazy as when Jack Black got asked to be in the Power Rangers movie.
You think that's crazy?
As Bulk? Who was he going to be?
They didn't announce that. I just know that Iris Hampton had asked his agents for him to audition for the movie, and that they had a role for him.
Hey, you think that's crazy? Okay, one, back when the movie was first being tossed around, Shia LaBeouf showed interest in being the Red Ranger, and two...
Get in line, Shia.
Yeah, two, I think it was either Jem or Jeff who brought up Chronicle. It's floating around the internet. Look for Max Landis' original script for the movie from 2014 and tell me that him making Kimberly the Black Ranger and Zach the Pink Ranger was not an incredibly stupid idea.
That's like the most Max Landis thing ever.
But the script was really... I read the script. It wasn't a bad script.
It wasn't bad, but that was one of the moments where I had to stop and go, what the hell are you smoking?
Because that's exactly what the reaction that Max Landis wants. He puts those weird quirks in there just to get a reaction out of people.
And when the first movie dropped, he was comparing it to his movie Chronicle, and I'm like, having never seen the movie, I don't see it. All I know is that they were pulling some inspiration from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies.
Oh, definitely. I can see that. With the action and stuff, I'm really excited about Power Rangers.
The action, the humor. Dan Israelite said that it was going to be quote-unquote grounded, but playful, and we definitely got that with the new trailer today.
Dan Israelite did Project Almanac, right?
That's the only other movie he's done, and I've never seen it.
Okay, I haven't either, but just based on the trailer that I saw, it seems like he basically gets the nice feel for the aesthetic and the CGI, and obviously like the kind of the teen angst that we kind of needed for this new reboot of it.
One day I'll see that Project Almanac movie. I like the trailer a lot. I never knew when it was coming out to theaters, so I never got to see it. But one day I will watch it.
March is going to kill me in terms of money because we got Kong, the Power Rangers, and Ghost in the Shell. I might go see Logan if I have the cash.
Yeah, I'm gonna be shelling out lots of money. I'm gonna go be seeing monster trucks this week.
And this isn't even the summer blockbuster season. What the hell? But then again, by March of last year, we also had Batman vs Superman. Sorry to anyone who likes it. I thought it was meh.
Why did you say that name? Why did you say that name?
A lot of plot holes and coincidences, but I'm pretty sure you guys talked about that a long time ago.
Batman v Superman. Martha's my favorite character. I got a Hot Toys figure of her.
Wait a minute. Are we talking Superman's mom or Batman's dead parent?
I got
Take
both.
your pick.
I got the limited edition Batman's dead parents, even with the background set and everything. It's cool.
You gotta pay extra for that. Worth it, though.
But that's the end of
You know
our
what? I wouldn't be surprised
podcast.
if somebody went and made that based off of that joke the Nostalgia Critic made.
I actually have a Spider-Man Uncle Ben action figure from when I was a kid about him getting shot.
Oh, how charming.
You're a legend, Remington.
It came with the first movie. I have that. My parents bought it for me for Christmas one year. So
Oh,
They're smoking.
Lovely.
parents know what you like, don't they, Remming?
I know.
My dad is like, what do you want for Christmas? Oh, dead Uncle Ben.
But that's the end
Now
of
my
our
head-
show.
Palm.
Thank you guys for watching the Nerd Talk podcast. This is the end of the show where we plug everybody. Let's start with Jem. Jem, tell my fans where they can find you at on the internet.
YouTube.com/Gem Reviews.
And hopefully all his videos won't be taken down by next week when you watch this video.
Hopefully my channel's still running by next week.
Dan, where can the lovely people find you on the internet?
On YouTube, you can find me as Mr. Moonwalker 94. On Facebook, you can find me on various different sites. You can find me on Jetman, the fan series. If you haven't already seen that, go check it out. Mr. Moonwalker, Michael Jackson impersonator. You can find that on Facebook and Twitter, Mr. Moonwalker, and Instagram, same thing.
Kenny, where can the people find you at?
You can find me on YouTube at Kenny Rutter. That's Rutter. You can also find me as one member of the Nostalgia Trio. And on Facebook at Growing Up in the 90s. You can also find me on fanfiction.net under the same name as my YouTube name.
And Jeff, tell my lovely fans where they might find you at.
Remington and everybody else, thank you for having me on. It was awesome getting to chat with you guys. I'm a part of the Bro Force Squad podcast. That's 3 words. Check us out on YouTube, on Facebook. We're doing our comic movie madness. We're going to have Remington on sometime in the second round to chat about the movies. Check out our website, broforcesquad.com. Vote on all the matchups. And we would love to have all you guys who are on the show tonight on sometime in the second round to figure out what the best comic book / superhero movie of all time is.
Hashtag Fantastic Four 2015.
Too easy. that or Rise of the Silver Surfer in the finals is what I got. That's where my money is.
It was awesome that you directed that, too.
One more thing real quick before we log off.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to try to get out there this summer. I'm making promises. June, I believe it's the 25th to the 27th this year in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I'm going to try to get out there this year, the Too Many Games Convention at the Greater Oaks County Convention Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. June 25th to the 27th, I do believe. I'm not sure when tickets go on sale, so keep your eyes out if you're interested.
And
Awesome.
you can find me on all the various social media sites like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat under Remington Keyes, RemDogg 105, or the RemDogg. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time, I've been your host, Remington Keyes. Sign out. Peace out, y'all. Have a good night.
Thanks, Remington. See you guys. Nice to meet y'all.
Thanks for having me on.